let's talk about tips on how to reduce your TBR pile. What's up? I hope you guys. So today we're here for some tips. So yes, obviously I'm not the perfect person to talk about how to reduce your TBR because my TBR is actually trying to kill me, to drown me, whatever, but I found a few tips that worked for me. So I wanted to share them with you and hopefully they will help you get that TBR down. Okay, so first things I love to do is to separate my read books from my TBR, so my unread books. All my unread books are not here because I have that many and because I love to have them on one side of that card, which is completely stupid because I could have them on the other side. But whatever, some are on my shelves, but they are not, let's say, my priority TBR. So here is a mix of my priority TBR and my less priority TBR, but still priority kind of thing, or books I'm more excited about. So yeah, I love to have them separate because whenever I finish a book and whenever I want to read another book or whenever I play my wild TBR game, I tend to check here first. So if they separate from my shelves, I can just focus on my unread books and stop just seeing my read books, because it just like helps me like realize how many unread books I have, and it helps me to actually pick one of them, if that makes any sense. I feel like I keep repeating myself, but the fact that they are separate is visually easier for me to actually pick one of them. Yeah, I think that was more English. Like when they all mixed up on my shelves, the unread books don't stand out kind of thing. So if you want to reduce that pile, maybe put them aside. Something that I've been doing quite a lot lately is that when a series is completely out or almost out or whatever, I tend to check for read-alongs. The fact that I'm going to start a series with other people and that we're going to talk about it every single month, it kind of motivates me to actually read that series and to have some kind of deadlines, structure in my reading. And also it is overwhelming. Like when you want to start the series and you see that the series is whatever, like 3 books long or 7 books long, it is intimidating, it is overwhelming, and sometimes that's the reason why I will not start that series, just because there are too many of them out already, and I wish I had started like 10 years ago so I would be up to date today, which is not something that could happen unless you have a time turner, which I don't think you have, and if you do, we should be friends. So yeah, reading a series with a community really helps me gain through it. And again, if I don't enjoy the series, I can always DNF it and take it off my TBR. So DNFing helps you reduce your TBR. Something that I tried last year but completely failed at it because it's something that just doesn't work for me, because sometimes I'm gonna buy 10 books and sometimes I'm gonna buy 0 in a month or whatever. It's like the book ban kind of thing. So you can decide to actually only be allowed to buy 1 book every 3 read books, every time you've read 3 books or whatever, or 5 or whatever the number you fancy. But that's something I tried that does not work for me, but it might work for you because it actually works for a lot of people. I'm just a weirdo, I guess, but that could be like a motivation kind of thing, you know. If I read that book, I can buy myself 1. If I read that series, I can start another series and get all the books, especially if it's a special edition. You know what I mean? That kind of motivation. Are you the type of person who would just forget that you have all these ebooks waiting to be read? Yes, me too. So that's why I created actually a shelf, so ebook TBR on Goodreads, which helps me keeping track of all the ebooks I have. So I kind of go back to that list every little while, or whenever I finish an ebook, I just check what else is on that e-reader kind of thing. And I have a Kobo, I don't know where it is actually, the Kobo Libra. I've been using it for like 6 months or whatever, I cannot remember, but I'm loving it. I love ebooks, I really do love ebooks, and I would recommend you to have some kind of list, because when the books are not visible, you tend to forget about them. That's why my TBR is here and not over there, because when you don't see them standing out, like stand out from your TBR, you don't realize they're here. Same for ebooks. Again, that's something that's working for me. That's something that I need to pay attention to. Maybe you have an amazing memory and you just know all the ebooks you own. Another great way to reduce your TBR if you are into audiobook is to actually maximize your audiobook time consummation. That is consummation? When you consume. Whenever you're cooking, whenever you're driving, whenever you're cleaning or whatever, try to maybe listen to an audiobook. I know it's not for everyone. If you cannot focus on the audiobook and focus on your driving, please don't. That will be dangerous for you and for others, and we don't want that. If you're the type of person like me who can actually drive and listen to audiobooks, road, stop. If you're the type of human who can listen to audiobooks and drive, then that's a good way, because traffic is something we all know and it's something that we don't want, but it could help you get rid of some audiobooks, because I don't recommend to read ebooks or books while driving unless you are not the one driving. But I do usually listen to audiobooks when I drive, when I clean, when I do my laundry, when I do grocery shopping, etc. I don't listen to all kinds of audiobooks while like doing something, because I tend to sometimes need the physical copy in order to understand the world. Like a heavy, like fantasy, like epic fantasy, high fantasy, I would at least need to read some of it just to absorb everything that was in the book. But everything that's more like self-centered, like self-improvement, or even like non-fiction, so biographies or something about astrophysics, you know, chemistry, etc., etc., I can actually listen to easily whatever is happening around me and still focus and understand everything. It doesn't mean that I don't ever listen to fantasy or sci-fi or whatever. I just need, for these books when they're more dense, to read the first few chapters before like just grabbing all the information and then being able to understand everything audiobook, like audiobook wise, by listening to it. That's the English expression I was looking for. If there is a book you keep postponing to next month and whatever, or a book you're intrigued by but intimidated by, or you're intrigued but you're scared or whatever the reason, you can always ask a friend to read it with you, or to see if there is any kind of book club that's reading it at the moment, or like in the few upcoming months or whatever. It can help you get rid of that book from your TBR, not get rid of it, like throwing it away, but I mean to make it a red book and not a TBR book, if you know what I mean. So usually, yes, that's my main motivation. Whenever I have a hard time with a book or I really want to read it, but for some reason, maybe that book came out like 4 years ago, and back in the days I was so excited about it, but now I'm kind of, I don't know if I'm gonna like it, blah blah blah. Then I just ask a friend, hey, have you read that book? No, let's read it together. And sometimes I just get like asked, oh, I saw that you just got that book. I've been meaning to read that book. Do you want to read it with me? Yes, of course. Like, I'm pretty much never going to say no to a buddy read. So, I mean, and unless it's like 15 and 20 at a time, no. I'm trying 1-2 per month maximum, because otherwise I'm just like overwhelmed. But yeah, that's something that helps me read more books. And also because then you set some goals, like maybe 10 chapters per week or 2 chapters a day, whatever. And the fact that you have some kind of obligation and, you know, to be up to date with the conversation, so you don't want spoilers or whatever, that's like a motivation. But also you can do it just with one person or with a group of person, like 2, 3, 4, and you can have a conversation about it, like video, whatever, or also on Instagram or Twitter or whatever the platform. I personally love Discord, but I also have the buddy reads on Instagram and on Twitter. So whatever you fancy, actually. There are many other tips I could share, like if you don't like a book, just DNF it. It doesn't have to be a permanent DNFing, it can be just for the moment, but just like try not to force yourself to finish a book or to finish a series, whatever the reason you're reading it for. Like if it's like a book club or read along or buddy read or whatever. The reason why I say this is mainly because for me, whenever I force myself to read a book I'm not enjoying, I will end up in a reading slump. And that's not something you want when trying to reduce your TBR. So keep that in mind. And I don't know why I'm here and not here since the very beginning. I'm not centered, but whatever. So yeah, DNF books you're not enjoying, try to find friends or book clubs or read-alongs or readathon to help you kick some books from your TBR. And that's pretty much what I'm gonna say, and that's how I'm gonna wrap this up. Try to find books you think you would enjoy and not just because they're popular. You can read popular books if that's something you want, but generally focus on books you think you can enjoy, so you have more chances to actually want to eat the book because you're just into the story and you cannot put the book down, if that makes any sense. That's it for now. I just wanted to share like a few tips for you. I really hope it's gonna help you kick some books from your TBR, because we love that. And it doesn't matter what your goal is, if it's like to read 5 books this year, 20, 200. I mean, I hope you're gonna find something helpful, but if you have more tips, please link them down below. That would be interesting to know how you handle that. And also for me, I could find more tips, and also we could just share them down below. Share for the world, share for every wolf out there that wants to get rid of some books and read some books and reduce that TBR pile. But yeah, wolves, thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to be a part of the pack. Talk to me in the comment section as usual, and until next time, take care, wolves. Bye.